What happens when a company that treated customers like family suddenly starts treating them like profit centers? Southwest Airlines was once the darling of American aviation, a revolutionary carrier that proved profitability and compassion could coexist. For nearly 5 decades, this airline defied industry norms by offering free checked bags, no change fees, and genuine hospitality while maintaining profit margins that made Wall Street jealous. But in 2024, something shifted dramatically, and the Southwest we knew began to disappear. The transformation happened swiftly and painfully. Suddenly, bags cost $35. Flight credits started expiring. The beloved open seating vanished, replaced by assigned seats with premium sections carved out by literally shrinking everyone else's legroom. Within months, Southwest dismantled the very principles that made millions of travelers choose them over competitors, leaving passengers and employees wondering what happened to the airline they loved. Birth of a maverick. Our story begins in 1966 at a San Antonio cocktail club where entrepreneur Roland King sketched 3 cities on a napkin. King envisioned connecting Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio with affordable flights. Inspired by California's successful Pacific Southwest Airlines, his lawyer Herb Kelleher saw potential in this audacious plan. Texas geography made it perfect. Cities far enough apart that driving felt impractical, yet close enough for short flights that could turn around quickly. The brilliance lay in regulatory loopholes. Because Southwest operated exclusively within Texas, it avoided federal oversight that controlled interstate carriers. While competitors dealt with government-mandated prices and route restrictions, Southwest set its own fares and schedules. Established airlines immediately recognized the threat and fought viciously through lawsuits. But Southwest prevailed, launching service in 1971 with 3 Boeing aircraft and unlimited determination to revolutionize air travel. The Southwest secret sauce. Southwest didn't just compete on price, it created an entirely different flying experience. The company chose Dallas Love Field over the newer International Airport, staying 16 miles closer to downtown and its customer base. This proximity became part of Southwest's identity, quite literally embracing the love theme with heart logos and warm branding. Flight attendants brought personality and humor to safety demonstrations, transforming mundane moments into memorable experiences. Behind the scenes, operational efficiency drove everything. Point-to-point routing eliminated complex hub connections. First-come boarding simplified gate procedures. Using only Boeing 737s reduced maintenance costs and training complexity. By 2017, Southwest carried more domestic passengers than any American airline while posting $3.5 billion in annual profit. The formula worked spectacularly. Treat employees well, they'll treat customers well, and everyone prospers, including shareholders who enjoyed 45 consecutive years of profitability. Paradise interrupted. December 21, 2022 began unremarkably in Denver until temperatures plummeted 40 degrees in 60 minutes. Winter Storm Elliott arrived with unprecedented fury, dropping temperatures to -24 Fahrenheit overnight. While Denver regularly handles winter weather, this storm exposed critical weaknesses in Southwest's infrastructure. Their cost-saving decision to use open-basket de-icing rigs rather than enclosed contractor equipment meant workers faced dangerous exposure, requiring frequent rotation to prevent frostbite. The real catastrophe wasn't the weather itself but Southwest's technological inability to respond. Their proprietary software SkySolver needed 25 minutes to propose solutions that became obsolete before implementation. As cancellations mounted into thousands, the system couldn't track crew locations or reschedule flights efficiently. Pilots received absurd routing instructions, flying as passengers through multiple cities without operating actual flights. Meanwhile, hotel desk staff, normally just 2 people, couldn't handle thousands of stranded crew members calling for accommodations and rest hour tracking. The meltdown cascade, what began in Denver, spread nationwide as SkySolver's limitations transformed localized disruptions into systemic failure. The software could only address future problems, not current ones, meaning flights past their departure time required manual intervention. With daily cancellations reaching thousands, human schedulers became overwhelmed. Crews waited hours on hold, unable to accumulate mandatory rest periods, creating more cancellations. The vicious cycle spiraled until Southwest essentially lost track of where crews and aircraft were located across the country. By Christmas, Southwest made the unprecedented decision to force reset operations. They preemptively canceled 2/3 of upcoming flights and halted all ticket sales. Dozens of empty planes flew solely to reposition equipment and personnel. The recovery took over a week, with normal operations resuming December 30th. Final tallies were devastating. 15,000 canceled flights, $400 million in lost revenue, $600 million in passenger compensation and expenses, $140 million in federal fines, and $300 million in lost future bookings, totaling nearly $1.5 billion. The activist arrives while competitors rebounded strongly in 2023. Southwest continued declining, Profit dropped from nearly $1 billion in 2021 to just $465 million by 2023. Rising fuel costs, aircraft shortages, air traffic controller limitations, and pilot shortages squeezed margins industry-wide, but Southwest seemed uniquely vulnerable. For the first time in company history, shareholders grew restless. Then in June 2024, Elliott Investment Management purchased a $1.9 billion stake, acquiring 11% of company equity. Elliott's reputation preceded them as perhaps Wall Street's most aggressive activist investor, notorious for forcing radical restructuring and ruthless leadership changes to boost shareholder returns. For Southwest, a company that prided itself on promoting from within and prioritizing culture over quarterly earnings, Elliott's arrival felt ominous. The battle lines formed immediately. Elliott demanded Executive Chairman Gary Kelly and CEO Bob Jordan resign, while Southwest firmly refused, implementing a poison pill provision to prevent Elliott from acquiring more than 12.5% ownership without triggering defensive measures. The transformation demanded desperate to prove viability to wavering shareholders. Southwest abandoned core principles. Open seating, which enabled faster turnarounds and more flights, disappeared in favor of assigned seats with premium upcharges. The airline announced red-eye flights by early 2025. Another deviation from tradition. But Elliott wanted more than incremental changes. They proposed 10 board candidates with extensive airline experience from Virgin America, American Airlines, WestJet, Air Canada, and Ryanair, representing radical departure from Southwest's promote-from-within philosophy. Behind closed doors, negotiations intensified. Gary Kelly flew to New York for direct talks with Elliott representatives. The next day brought stunning announcements. Kelly would retire. 6 board members would step down, but Bob Jordan would remain CEO. The fairy tale era officially ended as the airline began mimicking competitors it once outperformed. What we lost forever. Elliott's logic seems straightforward. Struggling airline adopts successful competitors' strategies to restore profitability. Short-term metrics might validate this approach as revenue potentially increases from baggage fees and premium seating, but this analysis ignores decades of competitive advantage built on unique value propositions. Southwest succeeded phenomenally for 50 years precisely because it offered something different. Customers chose Southwest over cheaper or faster options because of the experience and values the airline represented. Now Southwest competes directly against United, Delta, and American without differentiation beyond marginal price differences. The cult-like loyalty evaporated overnight when policies betrayed customer trust. Employees lost the no-layoff guarantee in February 2025 as outside board members brought conventional airline thinking. Customers pay more for less while former advantages disappear. Only Elliott wins, eventually liquidating shares at profit before moving to the next target. What was sacrificed cannot be recovered. The intangible brand equity and goodwill that made Southwest extraordinary for generations. Thank you for joining us on the World Documentaries as we explored Southwest Airlines' transformation from beloved maverick to conventional carrier. This story reminds us that sometimes short-term financial pressure destroys long-term competitive advantages built over decades. Have you flown Southwest recently? Do you think they made the right choices, or did they lose something irreplaceable? Stay tuned for more fascinating stories that examine how business, culture, and economics shape our world.